like a squirrel typal deck that just wants to flood the board with as many cute and furry critters as possible and then turn them sideways for the win. But it's definitely not. This aristocratic commander wants to build a token army of rabid rodents ready to fall on their own swords for the glory of their leader, the great and powerful Chatterfang, Squirrel General. This legendary creature can dominate your commander pods if you build him right, and I am here to show you how. Hey y'all, I'm Nicole RN with Commander on Call, and welcome to another Deck Diagnosis, the series where we treat commander decks like patients, see how they're doing and what they need to get better. Today, we're going to deep dive into one of my favorite commander decks to play, Chatterfang. This adorable little guy likes to flood the board with tokens and wield them like weapons, like a general does. So how can you turn squirrels into wins? Let's clock in and find out. Chatterfang, Squirrel General, is a 3/3 legendary squirrel warrior for 2 and a green. Although his color identity for commander purposes is Golgari due to the black mana symbol in his activated ability. He has Forest Walk and a triggered ability that states, if one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. He also has an activated ability for 1 black mana that says sacrifice X squirrels to give target creature plus X minus X until end of turn. The Forest Walk is nice, but it's not what makes Chatterfang powerful. The ability to make every token you create also make a squirrel is strong. Token doublers are always strong in Commander. It may not make the same token, but the fact that they're all squirrels can be used to our advantage, especially with his last ability. Giving a creature plus X minus X sounds like a fragile buff that you can give one of your creatures, but that's not the strength of his ability. Giving your opponent's Krenko Mob Boss plus 3/3 would reduce his toughness to 0, killing him. The super cool thing about this ability is plus X minus X gets around indestructible since it's not damage. Chatterfang is one of the easiest commanders to get around that one of most frustrating keywords in Magic, besides protection and hexproof. And I have to say, this video has the same disclaimer as my Ashaya video from before. This deck is my personal deck that I play regularly. It's not perfect, it's not optimized, and all of my decks are fluid. They change with new sets and when I get new cards or new ideas. The Architect deck list is in the description down below if you want to come check it out. In order for Chatterfang to be effective, he has to have a way to create tokens. Fortunately for us, green is one of the best colors at flooding the battlefield with cardboard, aside from white. We also want to focus on token generating engines more than one-time spells unless they have some other advantage. The token generators will pop on the screen, but I'm going to highlight some of the more important ones. First, we have Nuka-Cola Vending Machine. This is an artifact for 2 mana with an activated ability for 1 and tap to create a food token, which will also create a squirrel with Chatterfang. And it also has a triggered ability that states, whenever you sacrifice a food, create a tapped treasure token. Again, and a squirrel with Chatterfang. Notice how you don't have to activate the food's ability to get the treasure. Interesting. Nuka-Cola vending machine combos with Peregrine Took, but we're going to talk about combos later. I used to run Igra, Eater of All, in this deck too, and I may end up putting her back in, but I'm not sure yet, so let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I'm curious. Next, we have Academy Manufactor. He's an artifact creature for 3 that states, if you would create a clue, a food, or a treasure, instead create one of each. Let's say you pay 1 and tap your vending machine for a food, which is adorable. Academy Manufactor will turn that food into a food, a clue, and a treasure, and then Chatterfang will say, here are 3 squirrels to go with it. Nacatl Warpride is a 3/3 green cat warrior for 3 green, 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 who must be blocked by exactly 1 creature if able. The important part for them is whenever Nacatl Warpride attacks, put X tokens into play, tapped and attacking, that are copies of Nacatl Warpride, where X is the number of creatures defending player controls. Remove the tokens from game at the end of turn, which will also make that many squirrels. This one can be inconsistent, but when it hits hard. Scoot Swarm. Need I say more? Probably not, but I will anyway. Scoot Swarm is on the field. You play your Evolving Wilds. You make a Scoot Swarm and a squirrel. Then you sacrifice it for a forest. You make 2 Scoot Swarms and 2 more squirrels. Then you sacrifice your Sakura Tri-Builder for a swamp, and then you make 4 more Scoot Swarms and 4 more squirrels. And then you smile to yourself looking at the Terramorphic Expanse in your hand, just waiting for your next turn. Chatterfang is important. He's a glass cannon commander whose deck struggles to function without him. So we run the basic protection suite of Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. We use the MDFC instant revitalizing repast with the Golgari land on the reverse side in case we run into an issue where we really need that land. Finally, to protect Chatterfang, we run Swarmyard. This is a land that taps for colorless mana, or it can tap to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Crop Rotation is there to give us instant speed access to our Swarmyard for 1 green mana. This deck, along with most token decks, is susceptible to board wipes. So we do run cards like Heroic Intervention to protect our board. But really, this deck is very aggressive and can rebuild quickly if its creatures are killed. Ideally, we really want to find one of our combos quickly. Every EDH deck needs some form of ramp, or you will fall behind. And Chatterfang utilizes his resources effectively. He has access to Commander Staples, Soul Ring, and Arcane Signet, and being green, he gets access to land ramp spells as well. Cultivate, Rampant Growth. He also uses his creatures like any good aristocratic general would, with the reverse side of Growing Rights of Itlimoc, being Itlimoc Cradle of the Sun. It's a legendary land that taps for either 1 green mana or 1 green for each creature you control. Sounds like kind of like a Gaia's Cradle. Springleaf Parade is an enchantment for X green green that creates X 1/1 shapeshifter tokens, beating Chatterfang, and gives creature tokens you control the ability to tap for 1 mana of any color. Jaheira, Friend of the Forest, does basically the same thing, but for all tokens, not just creatures, but only giving them green mana. Circle of Dreams Druid taps for mana depending on how many creatures you control. Sakura Tribe Elder, Steve for short, can sacrifice himself to search your library for a basic land and put it into play tapped. Tireless Provisioner can make treasure tokens and squirrels when lands you control enter. And finally, 3 Tree City is a legendary land that has you choose a creature type as it enters. We will choose squirrels, and it taps for 1 colorless mana and has the ability to use 2 generic and tap it to choose a color and add an amount of mana equal to the number of creatures you control of the chosen type. Words are hard. Greedy gameplay gets punished, so we have to pack some removal. Some highlights, besides Chatterfang himself, are Dictative Erebos, which is mean, and whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Blasphemous Edict is a sorcery for 3 black, which reduces to just 1 black to cast if there are 13 or more creatures on the battlefield. Each player sacrifices 13 creatures of their choice. Swarmyard Massacre creates 2 squirrels, plus 2 more with Chatterfang, and gives each non-insect, rat, spider, or squirrel -1/-1 until end of turn for each insect, rat, spider, or squirrel you control. Deadly Rollick can be a free exile spell if you control a commander. Assassin's Trophy can kill any permanent, but gives that opponent a basic land in exchange. Then, for 1 and a green, Tear Asunder can exile target artifact or enchantment unless you pay its kicker cost of 1 and a black, and then it will exile target non-land permanent instead. This deck wants to win via aristocrat combos. Use Blood Artist, Marionette Apprentice, Mirkwood Bats, Poison Tip Archer, Sephiroth Fabled Soldier, or the emblem on his reverse side, Sir Conrad, Zealoport Cutthroat, or Bastion of Remembrance as the endgame to most of these combos. Number 1. Chatterfang goes infinite with Pitiless Plunderer. All you gotta do is pay a black mana and sacrifice another squirrel. When that squirrel dies, Pitiless Plunderer triggers, creating a treasure and a squirrel. Use that treasure for the black mana needed to sacrifice that squirrel. Repeat. And then you resolve all of Chatterfang's abilities, causing any number of target creatures to get +1/-1 until end of turn any number of times, thus killing your opponent's boards, or use any of those above win cards to drain your opponents and win. Number 2. Scurry Oak or Herd Baloth, along with Ivy Lane Denizen. Number 1. Cast Scurry Oak. Ivy Lane Denizen triggers, putting a +1/+1 counter on Scurry Oak. Scurry Oak triggers, creating a squirrel. Repeat. Pay 1 black mana to Chatterfang to sacrifice 1,000,000 squirrels to Zealoport Cutthroat everybody into oblivion and win. Number 3. Blood Artist or Zealoport Cutthroat or Bastion of Remembrance or Sephiroth or Funeral Room, and then Warren Soul Trader, and then Chatterfang. Activate Warren Soul Trader by paying 1 life and sacrificing another creature. Blood Artist triggers, causing you to gain 1 life and an opponent to lose 1 life. Resolve Warren's Soul Trader, creating a treasure and a squirrel. Repeat using that new squirrel as fodder. Number 4. Basking Brood Scale and either Sadistic Glee or Tarian Soul Cleaver. Adapt Basking Brood Scale by paying 1 and a green to give it a +1/+1 counter. Your Basking Brood Scale triggers, creating a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn creature token and a squirrel. Activate the spawn by sacrificing it, adding 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. When the spawn dies, Sadistic Glee triggers, putting a +1/+1 counter on Basking Brood Scale. Repeat. Add on one of those finishers listed before for extra shenanigans. Defense of the Heart can find a combo all on its own. But what if you can't win with a combo? You still have an army of squirrels and Champion of Lambholt to get them through. But what if squirrels are too cute? Introducing March of the World Ooze. It's an enchantment for 3 green that gives all of your creatures base power toughness 6/6 and makes them oozes in addition to their other types. And whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it is not their turn, you create a 3/3 green elephant creature token and a squirrel. Chatterfang is one of my favorite decks to play. He's versatile, combo-centric, and equipped with backup engines. You've listened to me for more than enough for one video. So now it's my turn to hear from you. Who is your favorite token commander? What about your favorite typal commander? If you like this deck diagnosis and you want to see more content like it, give me a quick like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. If you're tired of seeing this stethoscope fall off my neck, let me know that too. Thanks for diving into squirrel shenanigans with me. Now, clock out and go home.